The Seneca Falls Convention was a meeting of 300 people held on July 19th and July 20th of 1848. It was held in Seneca Falls, New York at the Wesleyan Chapel. The meeting was organized by two influential leaders of the women's suffrage movement, Lucretia Mott and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, where they fought for the social, civil, and religious rights of women. They discussed the 11 resolutions on women's rights and created the Declaration of Sentiments, a manifesto that described their grievances and called on women to fight for their right to equality as U.S. citizens. Why did Lucretia Mott and Elizabeth Cady Stanton hold this convention?
It was held in response to the two being barred from speaking at anti-slavery policy discussions, since men were the main figures and speakers of the discussions and women were always subjugated to lower positions.
What was the overall public reaction to the convention?
Well, it was followed by a negative and unsupportive response, as they were mocked by the press with political cartoons, and many disagreed with the idea of equal rights for women to begin with. The negative response to the convention led to some even removing their names from the Declaration of Sentiments and joining the opposing majority.
What did this convention ultimately lead to for the women's movement?
It led to more women working for women's rights and organizing other conventions and events discussing the plight of women. It also led to more and more women standing up for their rights, recognizing their importance. Eventually, it brought about many reforms that we've seen in the 19th and 20th century.
Did the movement ever lose momentum after the convention?
Yeah, it actually did in the 1850s because the main focus shifted to slavery and the Civil War. However, it gained back its momentum later in the 1900s, notably with the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which states that the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex.
How did the Seneca Falls Convention serve as a turning point when talking about equal rights movements, and how was it significant?
Part of its significance was that it was the first official women's rights convention ever held in the history of America. It had really big long-term effects, too, the most famous one being that women were ensured the right to vote with the 19th Amendment 7 decades later. It started an insurgence of men and women fighting for equal rights.